In this video, I will show you a step-by-step tutorial on how to flat finish your stitched project and easily display it. Hi, my name is Marie and this is the Caterpillar Cross Stitch channel. If you're new here, welcome. This channel is all about cross stitching and tutorials, so remember to hit like and subscribe so you never miss a new tutorial from us again. Remember to also follow us on our social media on Instagram and Facebook for even more stitching news and inspiration. This video is all about an easy finish to display your cross-stitch piece. It's really easy, requires only a few easy to get materials, and it looks really nice on display in your home or would make a wonderful gift. So let's get finishing. This is the flat finish we're going to be creating today. First, let's take a look at the things we will need for the flat finish. A washed and ironed cross-stitch piece, in this case it's our Seaspray Cottage. Some colourful fabrics to choose from for the backing piece. Rickracs, mini pompoms and laces to choose from for the finish. I just search and buy these on Etsy. Mount board and felt. Then stitchery tape, which is an acid-free double-sided tape I get from 123stitch.com. They ship to the UK. Tacky glue, also acid-free, a US product I got from Amazon. A glue gun, a couple of small brushes for the glue and a pencil, fabric scissors and a rotary cutter and a ruler to measure. That's it, so let's get finishing. First, have a think about how much white space would you like around your stitched area. I will want mine quite close to the stitching, so only a few Ada holes. Take a ruler. I prefer a quilting ruler because it's see-through and has helpful guidelines for exact and even measuring. And measure as much or as little of the fabric outside of the stitched area you'd like. Make sure that the area is completely even. I am following the Ada thread as well as using the ruler just to double check I've got it right and the count is the same on each side. This is to measure the area that is going to be on display. I use a pencil to mark the points on the back of the fabric, but it is very important to remember that pencil is very hard to wash from your fabric. So if you do choose to use a pencil, only do so very lightly on the back of your project and make sure it won't spill through in the front. Alternatively, you can always use a friction heat erasable pen for this. When done, measure the distance between the pencil markings to find out the dimensions that you will then use to cut out your mount board. Take the mount board, mark the exact dimensions you've just measured on it and cut it out. I am using my rotary cutter that I used to use for fabric, but I now have amazing fabric scissors, so I'm not worried about blunting the rotary cutter. You could alternatively use a strong X-Acto knife. The mount board is quite thick, so if you were to use paper scissors, you'll need a sturdier pair and be prepared to use some force. Once your mount board is cut out, use it as a template to cut out a matching piece of felt too. Let's cut the second, larger piece of the mount board that we'll use for the backing fabric. I've just added 1 inch on top of the previous cutout dimensions as I'm happy with just ½ inch border around the whole cottage. This is entirely a personal choice and aesthetic preference really, so if you want a thicker border, add more than 1 inch when cutting out the backing mount board. I have again cut it out using the rotary cutter and also used the mount board piece to cut out a matching piece of felt. Take the mount board pieces and spread some glue on them to attach the felt pieces. The board does bend a little bit after the glue is applied. This is easily countered with bending it gently in the opposite direction. Cut off any excess felt and it's ready to go. Do exactly the same on the second mount board cutout. Now it's time to cut the cross-stitch piece to get rid of any excess fabric. I am marking extra inch on each side of the mount board and then start cutting while staying as straight as possible. It's quite easy on Ada as you can follow the holes in the fabric. Put the smaller mount board piece on your stitching and catch it with wonder clips just so you can straighten it out, making sure all sides are straight before you start gluing it. The clips will leave a small dent, but it will even itself out in no time. Just fluff up the fabric a bit when you've taken them off. Starting with the corners, take a double-sided stitchery tape if you have it, or any other glue I've mentioned, and glue the corners first. Then fold the sides and attach again with stitchery tape or glue. Try to keep the fabric taut on the front and reposition as needed. And that's it for the first part. Now it's time to choose matching fabric and whether we'll add any pom-poms or rickracs. I always like to lie the project on a couple of different fabric designs to see which one of them complement the project colors the best. Quilting fat quarter packs with many different pieces of fabric work really well for this. Try a couple of different combinations of fabric and other decorative elements to make sure you're 100% happy with it. We will be gluing all of it together, so it is really important you're happy with the way it all works together. I have decided that I like the dark blue floral fabric and red pom-poms the best. So let's finish the backing piece together now. The process for the backing mount board is exactly the same. Stretch the fabric over the mount board and start with the corners first. I'm using hot glue gun for this. Just one word of warning, make sure it's heated up properly, otherwise you'll end up, like me, having to tear all the glue off. It's on the back of the board though, covered by fabric, so no big deal. Start with the corners first again and then the sides. Just make sure that the fabric is nice and stretched on the front of the board. No creases or loose fabric visible anywhere. Add glue in the corners if needed to catch any loose fabric ends. We're almost done now. It's time to just attach the pieces together. I have decided to use the stitchery tape again, but any of the glues would have worked as well, to be honest. I'm not planning on ever dismantling this, so I am happy with it to be glued permanently. A little test with the stitchery tape, it's holding the piece really strongly together. The only movement is the one of the backing fabric, so I'm really happy with it. And now just the mini pom-poms left. You can either attach them with pins, but like I said, I didn't mind to make this completely permanent, so I have decided to use a glue gun. I have cut off a little fluffy bit at the end of the pom-poms just to make sure it doesn't stand out when I connect the two ends. And I started carefully applying small amounts of the hot glue, trying not to mess around. If the glue got on the fabric, it would be pretty visible, so try to stay only where the two mount boards meet. Precision over speed definitely pays out with this one. Keep the pom-poms taut to make sure they sit evenly around the edge. When you get to the end, cut the pom-poms exactly where they meet to make sure there's no excess or a gap that would draw attention to the place where the ends meet. And that's it. If you followed the tutorial at home, congratulations! You now have a beautiful piece to display at your home or to give as a gift. I personally display it on a mini wooden easel. You can get a set of these on Amazon, or you can add a ribbon on the back and use it to hang your finished piece on the wall. I hope this tutorial helped you and that it gave you some inspiration on how to finish your stitched pieces. I'd love to know if you're gonna give it a go. Let me know in the comments below. If you loved the Seaspray Cottage I was finishing today, you can get it and many other projects on our website www.caterpillarcrossstitch.com as a full kit or as a PDF. If you haven't signed up to our newsletter called VIP Stitch Club yet, make sure to head over to our description below to get 8 free PDF patterns and a 10% discount on your first order. Remember that you can also join almost 15,000 other stitchers in our Facebook group and celebrate your finishes or starts with them. And that is it from us at Caterpillar Cross Stitch today. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful week and see you next Monday.